Our next research is about tuning language processing approach for Pashto text classification. And thanks for everybody that listens to me once again. In this research, focused on Pashto language. Nowadays, text classification for different purposes becomes a basic task for concerned people. Hence, much research has been done to develop text classification for the majority of national and international languages. However, the need for an automated text classification system for local languages is felt. The main purpose of this study is to establish a novel automatic classification system of Pashto text. In order to follow this up, we established a collection of Pashto documents and constructed the dataset. In addition, this study includes several models containing statistical techniques and neural machine language, including Distelberg based multilingual case, multi-layer perceptron, support vector machine, Kinnear's neighbor, decision tree, Gaussian naive Bayes, multinomial naive Bayes, random forest, and logistic regression to discover the most effective approach. Moreover, this investigation evaluates two different feature extraction methods, including bag of words and tail frequency and verse document frequency. Subsequently, this research obtained an average testing accuracy rate of 95% using the MLP classification algorithm and TF-IDF feature extraction method in single label multi-class classification. Similarly, MLP with TF-IDF with a fan measure of 0.81 showed the best result. Experiments on the use of pre-trained language representation models such as Distelberg for classifying Pashto text show that we need a specific tokenizer for a particular language to obtain reasonable results. Recently, text mining attracted the attention of researchers to automatically figure out the patterns of millions of electronic text. Pashto is a resource-poor language, and the unavailability of standard public and free of cost data sets of text documents is a major obstacle for Pashto's document classification. Automatic text document classification and comparatively analyze the performance of different models or the main gaps in Pashto text mining. This research is the first attempt to classify Pashto documents into 8 classes, including sport, history, health, scientific, cultural, economical, political, and technology groups. Besides, this is the initial and novel work on Pashto text multi-level classification. The main contribution of this research are to designing two Pashto document datasets and make them publicly and free of cost available in the future, compare the performance of 32 distinct models on Pashto text single label and multi-level classification, evaluate the performance of a standard pre-trained language representation model, Distelberg, on Pashto language processing. What's Pashto language? Pashto language is also another official language of Afghanistan. Pashto is an Iranian language, a branch of the Indo-European language family, spoken natively by the majority of Afghans, more than 7 million Pakistani, and 5,000 people in Iran. This language has three main distinct dialects based on the geographical location of native Pashtun residents. The diversity of dialects even affect on spelling of Pashto text. This does not have any standard. Pashto language does not have any standard rules for writing and pronunciation. Therefore, the authors often write one word in several ways, and the speakers pronounce them in various ways. The representation of letters in this language is similar to Arabic and Persian, with some extra characters. Pashto differentiate nouns based on genders and distinguish the form of verbs and pronouns for masculine and feminine nouns. News articles and other online and offline scripts are not written or typed by Pashto native speakers in the social media and any other places. Hence, the probability of grammar and spelling errors is high. Grammar in Pashto is not as traditional as other Indo-European languages, although nowadays several Pashto grammar books are published. Still, they have contradicted each other in some parts. Furthermore, other languages spoken in the vicinity of Pashtun area have major influences on this language that caused arriving of foreign words in Pashto. For instance, some Pashtun combines Urdu or Dari words with Pashto while speaking or in their written text. The residents of Pakistan, Pashtuns in Pakistan, they mixed Urdu with Pashto, and Pashtuns in Afghanistan and most of the states, they mixed Dari words with the Pashto language. Out of history, there is no documented classification for the Pashto language. The only work to classify the Pashto text, which is some respects related to our work, was done by Zahor in 2020. They have developed a character recognized system that captures images of Pashto letters and automatically classifies them by predicting a single character. As I mentioned before, there was not any corpora for Pashto text to use for Pashto text classification. So we built the corpora by ourselves. In this study, we constructed two data sets corresponding to multi-level and single-level multi-class document classification. In single-level dataset, this research gathered 800 manuscripts from several online books, articles, and web pages to make a corpus for text document classification analysis. Subsequently, we manually assigned label by setting a number to every single document in relevance to the category it belongs. We collected 100 Pashto documents for each class, including history, technology, sport, cultural, economic, health, political, and scientific categories. Besides, we increased the data set with 475 news-related documents. Multi-level data set. In this data set, the structure of the corpus is altered compared to single-level document corpus. Each document was assigned to multiple related classes. Here, we consider the news category along with the prior labels. The average length of the document is 3,119 words, where the shortest document has 232 words, and the longest one includes 1,070. 31,740 words. Similarly, the total number of words is 328. 3,289,240 in the single label and this much words in multi-label datasets. In the next step, the authors process the dataset by applying some spelling and grammar modification, removing any noisy and senseless symbols, including non-language characters, special symbols, numeric values, and URLs. As a result, we standardize it and normalize the text within the document. We have three different types of classifiers with different feature extraction and tokenization models. In traditional model, we used naive Bayes, multi-neural naive Bayes, and nearest neighbor, random forest, decision tree, SVM, and logistic regression. In neural network models, we used MLP and the activation function of the loop. And in contextual word representation models, we use BERT-based multilingual case and distal BERT-based multilingual case models, with tokenizer of BERT-based multilingual case and distal BERT-based multilingual case, respectively. On our model, the final hidden state of the first token demonstrated the entire sequence. An activation function classifier on model is used to predict the related class of a text document. We use tokenization. In this study, we used tokenization, and we tokenized the text by using NLTK word tokenizer in the traditional and MLP models. On the other hand, the standard tokenizer process was used in BERT and distal BERT models. The procurement route of separate tokens in Pashto is a more challenging task due to morphemes and other issues with Pashto literature. Thus, this work used lexicons in their default forms. This figure represents how a sentence in Pashto is tokenized into tokens, each containing an ID. Evaluation metrics. We considered four matrices: precision, recall, fan measure, and accuracy to analyze the outcome of different models of the first and second groups used in this experiment. Consequently, this study computes weighted average value for precision, recall, and fan measure of all classes to compare the efficiency of each technique. In multi-label classification, the weighted average evaluates metrics for all labels and calculates their average weighted by the total number of true instances per each label. Besides, to evaluate the performance of individual algorithms in classifying documents into multiple types, we used AUC, area under the curve, along with other criteria. For analysis of the third model, we used accuracy and loss matrices in single label classification tests. We experimented the performance of third group of models on Pashto text classification by using Hamming score and Hamming loss. Hamming score corresponds to the portion of accurate predictions associated with the overall labels, while the fraction of wrong labels to the entire number of labels indicates the Hamming loss. This study has some limitations due to the context of the Pashto language. There is not any special toolkit for processing Pashto language like HAZM for Persian language and the NLTK for English language. The dataset used in this study is very short, with only 800 records in single label classification. Additionally, this experiment only considers 8 separate classes for Pashto document. However, our future goal is to expand the corpus and use a more hybrid algorithms to achieve better performance. This is the result of comparing different classification models for single label classification. Let me share the PDF. Here you can see better the results. You can see that the best performance for single label classification is belongs to MLP with 0.94% accuracy using TIF-IDF feature extraction method. You can see also other results for other methods and other models. KNN attained only 71% as average accuracy using TIF-IDF model method that is decreased to 700 after 70% after the altering the feature extraction method from TIF-IDF to Unigram. This performance belongs to decision tree method with TIF-IDF technique. And this comparison experiments with which is only 64% accuracy. This method also has a low performance with a fan measure of 0.69 using Unigram extraction method. This is the fan measure of our comparison. And also the outcome of each model is different according to the separate class label. For example, KNN employed with Unigram has 0.98 FM measure related to story tag, as you can see here. However, it obtained only 0.37 for scientific documents. Our second topic, that was the categorizing Pashto text according to several labels in multi-label classification. Here, the MLP technique illustrates the best performance, like the previous one. And here, the fan measure for MLP plus TIF-IDF is 0.85, and you can see the obtained accuracy related to separate levels and multi-level classification here. And you can see that the obtained accuracy according to each level for each model is different. And this is the sample average precision recall and fan measure and multi-level classifier. And also, this is the comparison of AUC results based on various algorithms. And finally, this table shows the position recall and the fan measure of multi-level classification. You can see the highest weighted average fan measure belongs to MLP plus TF-IDF model. This is an example of the output of our classification models. As you can see here, this is a Pashto news. It belongs to economics and politics, and also it's news. And you can see that it can predict the categories of this news 100% accurate. We divided the data set into 80% and 20% portions for train and test sets, respectively, in multi-level classifier for using the server-based multilingual case. The obtained accuracy for document multi-class single-level classification is 66.31%. And this model achieved 0.68 Hamming score and 0.10 Hamming loss in Pashto multi-class multi-level classification test. The main reason behind low accuracies of pre-trained language models is that we use multilingual based models. This is trained for more than 100 languages. However, Pashto is is not in that list. It is difficult for the model to distinguish and recognize Pashto alphabet characters and morphemes. Thus, these models demonstrate cheap performance in Pashto NLP tasks. Therefore, the requirements of a Pashto tokenizer is irreversible. On the other hand, existence of several similar words in some distinct categories results on misclassification of the labels as illustrated here. This is the multi-class classification report using this table. And this table shows the experimental results of multi-level classification for our TED model. As you can see, the Hamming score for the stillbird is 0.68, but for the bird is only 0.58. This paper demonstrates the impact of 5 different deep neural network models. Besides some of the our research presented comparison of different algorithms for classifying single-level and multi-level classification of Pashto text. It is a novel research in Pashto language classification. However, it is basic, and we should use other methods, and in the future we will improve our methodologies, and also we will try to improve our data set. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I'm sorry that I am really sleepy because it's 5 a.m. here.